Greetings, Minecrafters, and welcome to another exciting Minecraft discussion on all things well-being. This is Dr. Kimberly Quinn here in Beantown in Boston. Actually, I'm in a off-leash dog area, and I'm crazy about dogs, you know that. I'm just kind of hoping I don't step in something while I'm, but there are worse things, and I can just wipe it off. It's just that, you know what I mean? So, today we're going to talk about two, potentially three, sort of Minecraft strategies. Sort of like part of the bricks of the foundation of positive psychology. And as we know, the number one for longevity of life, living the longest, right? And also high quality of life. That's also really important too. It's a very gorgeous day, and I am amazed at how the leaves are still hanging on here, because we came down from northern Vermont and actually had a dusting of snow. Anyway, the number one for living a long life and a high quality life, optimizing human functioning and life satisfaction, all that good stuff, is relationships. And obviously that means positive relationships. Toxic relationships do the opposite. We're not talking about a little hard, like people can be a little challenging. We're talking about toxic, like continuing to do behavior that cracks you, right? That breaks you and prevents you from being who you are and your best self. Those people kind of need to, move on with their lives. But as far as so remember that it means really sort of what defines the relationships as being the number one for longevity of life and high quality is if you know like into your bone marrow that you can count on that person no matter what. So even if you had words, or you weren't even talking to them over something, whatever, when it came down to it, if you called them at 3 o'clock in the morning, they would be there for you, and the same for you with them, right? So it's that I can count on them no matter what. I can trust them no matter what. That's what we're talking about. So my very good example of this today is the reason I'm in Boston is to visit very good friends from St. Mike's. We all went there 30 plus, basically when glaciers were shifting and ferns covered the earth and raptors were circling, scooping up people in their talons and eating them. It was a while ago. We graduated in '88. Anyway, we're down here to see our very dear friends Jimmy and Liz, and celebrating a birthday. You hear me talk about Dr. Dave a lot, and he is, God, I'm going to say this right on video, he is like the sexiest 78-year-old ever. And I'm saying that, number one, because it's true, and number two, because he's probably listening. So happy birthday, Dave. And that's it. So relationships, that's just the first one, because there are a couple more to come. Relationships are just key to the number one for well-being. All right, that said, another one is having something to look forward to. And that can sound so ridiculous. Look at that tree. Wow, it's still fall here. Yeah, wow. It's having something to look forward to, and it doesn't have to be a Mediterranean cruise, especially not now in the Rona. It doesn't have to be, a huge vacation is the point. And, many of us have also, like a certain amount of finances and stuff. It doesn't have to be that. It can be that if you're fortunate enough to do that, but it doesn't have to be. It can be something as small as planning a lunch, with someone. It also doesn't have to be an expensive lunch. You can look at this park. It's gorgeous. I'm on the Boston Commons right now. I think the duck boats are here somewhere. Maybe it's a swan boat, right? Anyway, it's very beautiful. Got an itch, hold on a second. And so to have something to look forward to, and we often have to, because it can be difficult for many of us to practice self-care, which is what we're talking about. It's often so much easier for us to take care of other people and prioritize other people than it is ourselves. And that's also deep, because that comes to, we talked about it before, valuing ourselves, but we need to often override that automatic pilot thing and schedule something to look forward to, like we would schedule a dentist appointment. Right? So again, a lunch, a walk. It can be an overnight. Thankfully, we get a good deal on hotels because my husband works for them, for a hotel chain, so that helps a lot. But we've got to have something 2 weeks out, a week out, and we can look forward to it if it's like 3 or 4 months out. But if you're doing that big vacation situation, which is fine, Have that if that's 6 months out, because that's all good. There's no limit on things to look forward to, right? So you can have that one biggie if you're able to do that. And then, especially through the dark winter months, because at least in New England and other areas of the world, I'm thinking of Alaska too, seasonal affective disorder is a thing. So when it starts to get dark and cold and stuff, have a bunch of little things to look forward to, even if you do have that big thing. It's just so important. Just so important for our minds to have that something that we know is coming with a good friend, and combine the first two relationships with that. It's even better, right? If you can schedule in an all to yourself time, that's also good. And then the third one, and these all can go together, if you get a little overnight getaway like we're doing right now, or a weekend or whatever. You have the relationships, you have something to look forward to, and then also the third one, the third Minecraft strategy here for just optimizing well-being, is when we do break away, it forces us to take a step back. So we're actually, if we can step out of our atmosphere, even if it's an hour away, it doesn't have to be far, we're actually looking at something different. We're looking at different scenery. I think that's the Prue over there, right? I'm not sure. I think so. Anyway, what a bluebird here today. We're looking at different scenery. So again, it doesn't have to be some huge thing. It's amazing, and it sounds like, I don't know, like it's not that big of a deal, but it is to the brain, because when the brain is looking at a whole different environment, again, even if it's out your door, an hour, best if you can skip away for a few hours, it just feels even more so, but even an hour, the brain is like, woohoo, doing something different and looking at something different. And if you're feeling like, a little overwhelmed or a lot overwhelmed with work or school, if you're also, I'd say this, my Minecrafters a lot, actually, because there's the overnight getaway or the weekend getaway, and there's also just getting out of your dorm or your house. So oftentimes they're studying, and we've talked about this, and we can translate this into seasoned grown-up world easily as well. They get stuck on a statistic problem. They get stuck on an essay and writing. For seasoned grown-ups, it might be a work project, or it might be also a life thing, trying to figure out how to manage a conflict with maybe a challenging situation with a family member or friend. And we're thinking about it and thinking about running that narrative through our head and running that over and over and over again, and planning this and that. You know how I feel about that. Waste of life minutes. This can really, really, really help to solve whatever it is that's going on, whether it's a school project, work project, something artsy, then you feel like you have writer's block, or you've got painter's block or something, or a relationship block, whether it's a romantic one or it's like a sister or whatever, that when we take a step back and go outside, again, it doesn't have to be overnight, you can go out in the, if you can go out in the woods or a park like where I am right now, it's a gigantic difference to the brain. It's like, kind of like on a computer when you reboot, and it can be so beneficial. And the reason is, when we reboot and give ourselves something different to look at, the creative juices can really flow, right? So that would help with the writer's block, the painter's block, and also the problem solving, because a lot of people don't really get the connection between creativity and problem solving, and it's gigantic. Problem solving involves loads of creativity in conversations, in relationships, in all the way to statistics and all that stuff. So push the reboot button, okay? Take a step back, make something to look forward to, create something for yourselves in your schedule, something to look forward to, okay? And also, if you can combine that with doing something cool with a relationship, that somebody you've got history with, all the better. So those are the three. Relationships, number one, right? Scheduling something to look forward to. 2, which then has us taking a step back. 3, which then has us much happier, healthier, more joyful people living our best lives. And you know what? If we're living our best lives, more creative, all of it, we spread that stuff. We good vibes, just like negativity spreads. Positivity spreads too. Now, just lastly say, they say misery loves company. No, it doesn't. That's such a myth. Misery loves miserable company. So when we start to take care of ourselves, and we're with the people we love and we have history with, and we're scheduling little itty bitty things to look forward to. If you do one a week, even, that's great. And then taking a step back, we are not only better for ourselves, we spread that stuff to other people. And think of that on a global scale. Think of it, if each of us took care of ourselves like that for like a day, imagine how much better off the world would be. I'm just saying, it'd be like dominoes, like, you know, good vibe dominoes just all over the place. Okay, on that note, this is Kimberly Quinn signing off from the beautiful Boston Commons. Have a mindful day.